type as Victoria, right?
Yeah, I actually haven't got to talk to her yet, but
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I watched
Cool.
her interviews. Yeah, it's weird. I can see like similar kind of mechanisms or whatever, like movements and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
Well, welcome everyone to another typology interview. We have Yvonne.
Hi
How's
guys.
Good job. So, tell us about your history here. How'd you get here?
Yeah, I think like anyone else, I kind of just fell into a whole found typology that way because I've always just wanted to figure out more about myself, I guess, understand myself better. Um, so yeah, I got into typology maybe like 2 or 3 years ago. And then I obviously started off in the Myers-Briggs community, did the 16 personality types test.
Hmm.
And I got ENFP like every time I did it. So I just completely was set on that idea. And then even getting into OPS, like I only got into that thinking, oh, I want to understand my type of ENFP better. I was like,
Right.
I was already set on the fact that I was an ENFP, like just so stubborn in that. So yeah, so just like learned about the modalities and animals, and I thought that was all really interesting. But yeah, still wasn't open to the fact that I could be a different type. Um,
Interesting.
so it's been interesting. Yeah, I got typed as an INTP then 3 months ago, and it's been yeah, I've
Yeah.
been doing a lot of processing, but I resonate more obviously with INTP than I ever did with ENFP. Like I'd watched the classes of ENFPs and I thought, oh, like I don't really see myself in them, but maybe it's
Yeah.
just their FI. We have so many like individual differences or whatever because of that, or just I was
Yeah.
making up all different logic, logical
Also,
reasons.
I feel
Yeah,
like out of all of the NE DOMs, ENFPs seem the most NE. I don't even know how to explain it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They're just like kind of on their own planet a lot of the time, which is
Right.
fun. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Do you
definitely saw
resonate with being on your sorry.
in my own planet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, God, yeah. I could always see the NE. Like that was something just that was yeah, I could see that really well. Like
Uh-huh.
kind of NE has like this kind of like eccentricity to it, kind of zany. Um, yeah, so I could definitely see that in myself. Yeah.
Okay. Like I don't even know how to approach this subject. How did you see it in yourself? What is zany? Why?
It's hard to yeah. Why did I see myself as zany? I don't know. I guess maybe like other people's reactions to me sometimes, like they kind of just like I could tell they thought I was a bit unusual and kind of like in a funny kind of a way. I don't know how to describe it really, but
I mean, isn't that like an IP fear as well? I think I
that's
feel
probably it too.
yeah.
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 Yeah, like oh everyone thinks I'm weird. I guess just being able to make kind of abstract connections pretty quickly and
Right.
I could
What
see
kind
that
of things are you connecting?
I well I connect things in like a lot of different domains. So it's kind of hard to say what
Yeah.
I'm connecting. Like I'm connecting everything all the time. Like it depends on the kind of subject, if you know what I mean.
Are you doing a lot of like comparisons as well? Do you see that that's kind of how you process through?
Yeah, yeah, comparisons definitely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing with me. Yeah, um, but yeah, I don't know why I could see it so well in me. Like just even because any is like I love to collect concepts and theories. I could definitely see that. And funnily enough, I was doing that with like I was collecting concepts and theories about people all the time, which is like a notoriously INTP thing to do, like to try to understand the tribe through theories and concepts.
Right.
Um, yeah, so I saw myself doing a lot of that. Yeah, and kind of trying to understand people through the theories and concepts.
Yeah. I want to dig deeper on it a little bit, but I don't like any's hard for me to wrap my head around, I
Comprehend.
guess.
I
Yeah.
know it is a weird one. I guess I kind of that's the same view I have of NI as well. So maybe we can do a bit of back and forth, trying to understand our
Okay.
intuition. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
what is it about NE that confuses you the most?
just what I don't even know how to voice it. It's like how many
You guys
are
are
you
weird.
seeing
That's
are you
all.
seeing yeah, are you seeing like a lot of different concept is the word you're using? Is that
Yeah, kind of like
yeah,
patterns. Yeah,
patterns?
I actually okay. I'm gonna say a bit on NE because that panel interview I did with Kendrick. Someone commented on
Right.
it. I don't know whose name it was, but anyway, they gave a really good description of what NE is, kind of. So it's like you have loads of different worlds, like multiple worlds that you're interested in, and they could represent, like psychology or philosophy or metaphysics or whatever. And it's like your brain is kind of going to that world to see all the patterns there, like take in all the concepts, and to just like kind of conquer that kind of world and conquer your understanding of those theories and concepts. And then you'll like
Yeah.
move on to the next world kind of thing. And it's like you're not really collecting concepts like to have a vision of the future. It's more so just to have a better understanding of the world around you. It's hard. I don't know. It's like
Yeah.
weird to explain.
I mean, the best explanation I've had so far was from, well, I don't know best, but Matthew in ENFP said it's his parents even said on him that he's a reckless speculator. That's what they call him.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one actually, because it's like there's just too many possibilities. Like we're seeing too many
Right.
possibilities, and they're not even realistic, and they can lead us down kind of weird paths, or they can stagnate us even, and we end up doing nothing because we're too busy simulating all of these possibilities and potential outcomes in our minds.
Yeah.
Instead of kind of
Do they go simultaneously, or you got to take each one separately, or kind of both?
um like I think you kind of go through for me anyway, I go through like a honeymoon phase with each possibility. So for an example, when I was a kid, I wrote out a whole list of 100 things I wanted to be when I grew up, like 100 different jobs. And
Okay.
like that's kind of the way my brain is. It's like I don't want to just like choose one future and build upon, or like methodically build
Right.
towards that. I just see so many possibilities. But anyway, yeah, so my mind will kind of go through a honeymoon phase of just imagining myself being that person and what kind of scenarios I'd be in if I was living that type of life.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, meanwhile, I'm just sitting in my room on my bed, actually doing nothing. So that's that's what it's like. But yeah,
Right.
it's kind of
You're
like
too much.
one. Sorry,
Yeah. You're too stuck in all of the possibilities
in
and never
imagination
choosing
land.
one of them
Yeah,
to, yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of the difficulty, like trying to kind of narrow in, I guess, on. But and that's why I thought I was an ENFP as well, because I was like, oh my god, my NE is just too crazy, and I just can't bring anything into this reality. For me
Yeah.
to have SI third even. So
So I've
yeah.
heard it explained as well, like that, like I guess any path you take or any action you take is not necessarily to take one of those, but it's to maximize the possibility
Mm,
of like
what could happen and
futures you want, and then minimize the ones of futures you don't want, or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. So like I'm moving to New York this summer because I feel
Okay.
like there's so many possibilities there of things I can do, more so
Right.
than in Ireland. But I still haven't exactly chosen what exactly I want to do over there. I'm just kind of like, oh well, New York's a big city. There's so many possibilities.
There's more
So
possibilities there. So
I
more
like
possibilities is better.
yeah, like I like the realm of possibilities that New York
Uh-huh.
offers as opposed to Ireland. So
Okay.
so yeah, it's not that I'm narrowing down. And I don't know. I guess then when I'm in New York, I'm gonna just see what happens and see kind of what paths I end up going on. Like I
We'll
like kind
see.
of,
Yeah.
we'll just see. Yeah, it's just like I like just doing, like following my interests and then looking back and connecting the dots. Seeing how I was led, where I was led.
Right.
So kind of the approach I take to life, as opposed to just like, okay, this is the plan. I'm gonna
So what
build
does
it.
that hindsight give you?
What does the hindsight give me?
Just a record
Um,
of the path you did take?
yeah, I guess an SI kind of record. um, yeah. I just kind of liked. I think it's kind of interesting. I don't know why. It's just for a record, I guess. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
Just
obviously, yeah, the possibilities have to collapse into the past.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I kind of like the idea of the butterfly effect as well, where if you make one decision,
Yeah.
how it changes the whole course of your life. I kind of,
Right.
yeah. That's kind of, so I like to look back, I guess, to see, oh well, how did this one decision, create my future, and how is it continuously doing that? You know.
Right. And so what are you using that what are you using that for though? How does that help you make decisions in the future by tracking, like you're tracking the possibilities that you collapsed, the possibilities that you increased, if you
No, I
predicted
just
things
I just do it.
correctly?
I kind of just like look back at the collapsed possibilities just out of enjoyment. I don't really do it to build towards the future. Like when it comes to future planning, I just don't. That's all I can
Right.
say. I don't really do it. Like I have a vague kind of idea of where I want to end up, but I just don't know how I'm going to get there. And what excites me is all of the different ways I can get there and just
Oh, okay.
see where I end up. I guess it's kind of hard if you have NI. It's like hard to comprehend that like
Yeah.
someone would be okay maybe without having a kind of a future plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so what makes you okay? You're okay with not having a plan. You're okay with knowing
Oh
where
yeah.
you want to end up, but not knowing how to get there.
Yeah.
And do you end up getting sometimes to the places you want to go, or doesn't even matter?
Well, see, that's the thing about the future. You know, the only permanent thing in life is impermanence, right? So
Right.
I don't know who I'm going to be in 2 years' time, and I don't know what kind of perspective I'm going to have on life in 2 years' time. So yeah, I'm okay with like, let's say
Right.
even now I
Whatever you
have,
plan today is going to change because you're going to be a
yeah,
different person. Yeah.
yeah, because especially being like lead DI, that's definitely my thinking because I'm tracking my identity so much. But yeah, so whatever perspective I have in 2 years' time might change the whole trajectory of my future, that of the NI goal, where I thought I wanted to end up. I just might not want to end up there anymore because
Uh-huh.
I have a greater level of understanding of life and all of that.
Yeah.
So that's what confuses me about NI then, because I'm like, what if you guys have this 10-year future plan? Like, what if you just don't want to go on it anymore, or how does that work? I don't know.
Yeah. Um, I think it's similar in the way the plan aspect, at least, it's similar in the way where it's not necessarily solid either. It's just a general idea of where we want to end up, and we
Okay.
also don't know which way we're going to get there. Um, I guess the SE is just looking at the moment. How can I take another step? How can I maximize my time to add to that goal, to stack on that
Okay.
goal, on that future? Yeah. Because it's like, okay, if I want to go, if you want to go to the east, so then you got to take a step east every day. Otherwise, you just won't end up there, you know?
Yeah, it definitely seems more like stacking toward the future and kind of methodical and um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
And like the NI DOMs, they won't even notice things that don't contribute to that future. It's like, oh, that,
mm,
I don't need that. I don't need that. Yeah.
very tunnel vision kind of.
Right. Yeah. Do you see
Yeah.
that? Do you see how delusional NI can get sometimes?
um, well, luckily I can't shit on NIs because I don't have enough of them in my life, really, like lead NIs. But
Uh-huh.
I definitely have spoken to some in the community, and they definitely do seem to have a very definite vision for the future. That yeah might not take into account
Yeah.
all the actual the facts or whatever.
Also, like one way to understand things that they're building towards, like I guess the typology is a good example because there's so many different typologies. But like if we're picking one typology, we're going all in on that one typology and trying to fit everything into that one typology. It's like these are the boxes that everything fits into, and we have to
Mhm.
force it into those boxes, right? Whereas
Yeah,
I feel like any is a lot more loose. It doesn't take that as seriously. Like not
yeah,
everything has to fit there. Yeah.
no, yeah. Like of course we can all have like our personality framework and stuff, but maybe any kind of like still leaves things open a bit. There are a lot of other contributing factors to what makes you a person and what makes you the way you are.
Right.
Um, so yeah. Like typology is really interesting in that way, but it's also interesting to look at, what past experiences made you the way you are, or levels of maturity, or whatever. Like there's so many contributing factors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a friend with lead NE, and like sometimes I just have an idea, like I have something I want to explore, like for example, interviews or something like that, right? And so I'm just like, this is what I'm going to go explore. And he's like, okay, what do you want to get out of it? What do you mean? What do I want to get out of it?
Yeah.
I don't know yet. I don't know until I find it. Like I'm looking for something and I don't know what it'll be. Yeah, and I think
That's
NE in some way needs to have some kind of guess as to what they're going for,
uh,
or you feel similar.
I don't know. I mean, like maybe I do have a main objective of just wanting to understand the thing better. Yeah, for a particular outcome. I'm not really sure about that one. I haven't thought about
Yeah.
it, but could be.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was explaining like what would a subjective typology look like. I was thinking about that at one point, and it was like It's like, well, you're only either gonna get this is your answer, this is your answer, what do you mean? How are you already defining what I'm gonna get? Like, do you see what I mean? That kind of thing. Like
Okay, so
already
you're,
guessing the possible answers that you're gonna get. And
yeah,
for me, I
kind of.
can't do that. Yeah, because it's
Yeah,
like
it's
I
kind of,
can't build an NI yet.
yeah. Okay, so maybe, yeah, we're kind of just like jumping too quickly.
Right,
Yeah, like just kind of coming up with all of the possibilities just because that's the way
right,
our brain kind of works, but they might not necessarily be true, or yeah.
right. That might not actually be what I'm building. Because like, it's like if you're, I don't know, if you're building something, you don't know what it's gonna look like till it's done. I guess you get that with TI as well, where it's like, what are you
Yeah,
thinking about? Well, I don't know what I'm thinking about. It's not done yet.
that's a
Right,
tough, yeah, that's a tough question for TIs, definitely.
right.
Yeah, especially when you don't feel ready to share it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I understand then that you feel the need to gather enough SE so that you can build the NI. So your NI would probably, it'll be kind of more realistic maybe than elite NIs sometimes.
I would like to think I'm less delusional, but like that's also kind
Yeah,
of delusional. Yeah.
yeah. I think we're all delusional in our own
Right.
special way.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And the blast last, is that making sense to you too?
Oh God. Yeah. That was actually one thing I definitely thought I could have. Like that was, yeah, I kind of definitely saw that. Because I watched the Daniel Radcliffe class and he's blast last, and I remember Dave and Shannon describing a blast last brain like a Christmas tree. Like it's almost as if you can see the electrical wiring going off in their brain when they're speaking or when a thought comes to their mind. Um, just because, yeah, we just, that's just the way we are. But yeah, so I wasn't really surprised with that, and I guess
Right.
the lack of organization and stuff comes with being blast last. So that was probably making me feel like an EP as well in a lot of ways.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've heard NEs define their NE as well. Like use that analogy, like Christmas lights or something like that on like their
Yeah,
NE is lighting up in that
yes,
way.
like
Yeah.
trans contextual thinking. So that kind of makes
Right.
our brain like a Christmas tree as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That connects to that, connects to that, connects to that, connects to that. Okay,
Yeah.
now I know where to fit it. Yeah.
We'll just make the most random connection sometimes.
Yeah, it's like every new concept has to fit in the grand scheme of concepts and connect to everything. It like needs to find its place, its
Yeah.
connection,
Especially,
interconnection.
yeah, exactly. 'Cause I have masculine intuition as well, masculine NE. So it's like, yeah, it kind of like the way they talk about Jordan Peterson, or I think Jordan Peterson described it this way, but it's like all the concepts kind of fitting just to make sense of a whole subject. It's like you need all of
Right.
the concepts, and yeah, they all have their place.
They all have their place. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
when you get a new one, you've got to be like, okay, does that fit there? Does that fit there?
Yeah,
That
where
kind of
does it
thing.
fit exactly?
Right.
And then with TI, is it true? And are there any holes in or flaws in the logic of
Right.
it as well? So
So it's like
a lot going
also a
on.
lot of like we're doing visual here, but it's like Venn spheres, I guess. Like does it in that way as well? Like do
Yeah,
they overlap?
yeah, there can be overlap definitely with concepts and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but the thing is with a theory as well, like if there's one piece of evidence to disprove the theory, like I throw it out kind of thing. Like
Hmm.
I only want to remember the concepts that are like the most true to me or whatever, that make most sense,
Right.
if that makes sense.
Like I guess maybe even just the strength of the light. I don't know how to make that into an analogy, but like the
You got this, Benjamin.
but like
Work that I
the
know.
like if you've got a kind of a weak NE that you don't know where it fits, or it kind of fits but not really well, you just throw it out, or you'll just leave it there and let it.
Yeah, I'll let it sit actually, I'll let it
Yeah.
sit, but then I will throw it out if it's just disproven too many
Right.
times
Yeah,
from the
right,
data.
right, right.
Yeah,
Right.
kind of thing. Yeah.
But I guess a concept is still a concept even if it doesn't fit in that spot. So it might fit somewhere
Yeah.
else in the future, or no?
Well, no, if it's true, if it's not true, it's kind of, I just
If it's
don't
not
like
true.
to remember it. I think because,
Yeah.
especially when I studied psychology, we learned so many concepts and theories. Like that's like the bulk of an
Right.
undergraduate degree in psychology. And just some of them were just like, they were interesting, but not enough. They weren't true enough to want to remember or to help you make sense of the world. If that makes, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I feel like this is such overview talk as well.
No, it's okay.
um, a lot of that. But yeah, no, I just like to remember the kind of the truest concepts, because that's just how I make sense of the world, really, and especially
Right.
pertaining to human behavior and stuff like that as well.
So
So
the more true a concept is, does it feel more like an anchor to be able to fit other
yeah,
things? So like
yeah.
I can relate everything to this one concept now because it's like
Um,
it's more true.
yeah, yeah. It's like you'll come across a lot of different concepts, and then eventually you might get to the bottom, or you might get to one that just feels the truest, and then yeah, that will be the anchor. Like that'll be the one that I'll relate back to if I'm talking about a certain subject. You know,
Right.
that's the one, because it all goes back to forming my identity in a way. Because as lead TI, my identity is kind of like my opinions and my reasoning and stuff. So that's why I'll like hold on to the truest concepts for me, if that makes
Because
sense.
you can relate back to them. You can
Yeah,
always
yeah.
yeah.
Because I just want to be right, you know.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lead TI. Yeah,
Um yeah. And so the I'm wondering about the energy dom thing then. Like, do you see yourself trying to just be authentic and share who you are, like not trying to hide behind any masks or anything like that?
yeah. Oh my god, yeah, definitely. And I didn't realize that was like an energy dom thing. That's probably why I thought I was FI as well, because that's very related to authenticity.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, being an energy dom, it's like I just want to show the truest version of myself to the world. Because yeah, if by doing that I'll attract people into my life who resonate the most with me. And also I've noticed, you know, the more true you are to yourself, the more other people feel kind of safe to be themselves as well, to shine their lights. So but of course that's fluctuated throughout my life. You know, you go through periods of low confidence where you're not feeling like high self-esteem enough to share yourself. So that's why it's really important to be in a healthy place, I guess, to be able to do that. um but
Right.
yeah,
You don't want to share yourself if you're a piece of shit because no one will love that. Yeah.
yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I'd
Right.
rather just like stay in my own little world if I'm feeling like a piece of shit kind of thing. But yeah, because
Right.
I've heard that
I didn't say you
info dump.
specifically. I was
Yeah,
just in general.
yeah. Yeah, let's just stop this interview right now.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, I've heard of info dumps like wanting to have a certain persona, I guess.
It's not that they want to, it's that
Or not want to, but
yeah.
yeah.
It's that we can go into it. Yeah. But
Yeah, let's go into it,
yes. Yeah. So it's not that we want a persona. It's annoying as hell that I even have one. It's just our sleep is so I don't know, we it's so delicate to us. And
Mm,
so
okay, yeah.
even sleep above play, as long as we're infodom, we're not sharing that sleep. We're not trying to be authentic with it. Yeah.
Because
Cuz
it's just so like untouched almost sometimes, or not untouched, but like you just maybe you're too afraid to share it or something
yeah,
because it's
well cuz we're building it from the info. And
mm,
so a lot of it is just like it's hard for you to share your TI until
oh, okay, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Until it's done. So the
very
same thing with the sleep. Until it's done, we don't want to share it.
okay, yeah. And it's like you need it to be
Yeah.
accurate because you're an
And
infodom.
then
So
right.
once the
And then also
information is right, then,
when it is done, it won't make sense to anybody. And so
yeah,
we need
probably,
to still even hide it. Yeah.
yeah, because there's just so much information. That's why I thought I was an infodom as well, but I think it's just the
Right.
TI can kind of
Yep.
make you feel like a bit of an infodom, just because it's like
Yeah.
I need to have so much
It's funny. You're
information.
saying exactly what I've been, exactly a theory I've been spouting. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
What,
That,
that TI is like
no,
info?
that, okay. So double observing seems to be very close to TE, just like the bullshit detecting.
Oh yeah,
And then double deciding seems to be very close to FE. Like just the aspect of, I don't know, like double deciding does it between me and the other person, so they're
yeah,
relating those two. But then
yeah,
FE is doing it between two people's values. So
yeah.
there's
Okay,
kind of like a double deciding element to FE. It's like peacekeeping in the same way, I guess. So
yeah,
like bullshit detecting and then peacekeeping, and
yeah.
then
That makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah, yeah.
and then what you just said was like the energy dom is kind of FI like. You
Like
you said
authenticity. Yeah,
the authenticity, right? And then yeah, the TI is kind of like the infodom. Yeah.
yeah, because it's like we still want to know what's true,
Right. Yeah.
but then obviously we're missing blast, so we're just like consuming so much information. But
Yeah. And I think also like okay, so the energy DOMs are building their identity based on how other people react to it, how it fits in with the play, I guess. Like they're doing a lot of course correctings all the time
It's
on
energy
their
drink.
identity. Yeah, they're
Kind of.
building their identity not off of the info, but off of like, okay,
Yeah.
this didn't work. I'm doing a little course correction, and now
Yeah.
let's see how that plays out.
Yeah. Yeah. That does work. Yeah. Because I do like to play around with certain aspects of myself with people to see how they react to it, kind of thing. But I still
Uh-huh.
feel like it's me. It's just another kind of aspect of me. And it usually just goes back to me kind of being a more true version of myself around people and seeing how they react to that, and I don't know, kind of stuff like that. So
Right.
yeah, I definitely do play around in that way.
So yeah, so that's an interesting thing. So it's like, okay, I'm going to be a more true thing to myself, but then sometimes I'm going to make myself more like you change yourself as well in the same way. It's like I'm going to reveal myself as I am, or I'm going to change myself because this part of me isn't working with the tribe or something.
Yeah, a bit of both. I guess it depends on the situation.
Right.
But ultimately, you know, especially being lead DI, you do just want to be in company where you feel like your truest self anyway, and that people appreciate that. And
Yeah.
you know, so like I would gravitate more towards people who
Right. So you're talking about like the feeling safe sort of thing, right?
feeling safe. Yeah, feeling
Yeah.
safe.
So what kind of thing would make you feel safe?
In a group, I think just like just positive reactions to me, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And kind of, yeah, people like getting my sense of humor or stuff like that. Because I feel like sometimes like I've been labeled intense sometimes by people in the past, and they're not the types of people I'd want to be around, I guess, just because I don't want to ever make someone feel like, oh god, she's like a bit too much or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like everyone's probably, you know, had experiences like that where you don't feel safe in situations, and it's just, especially if you're demon FE, it's like not a nice feeling. So
Yeah. Yeah, because Demon FE too, it's like you don't know when you are crossing that boundary or not.
yeah,
And
and it's only through, it's like it's tough because we have to kind of work backwards, I guess. Yeah, it's like you cross the boundary and then you reflect and you kind of deconstruct the whole thing, and oh, where like you're trying to process, where did I go wrong, or where did I, what was that too much or was it too little, or you know. So
right,
it's kind of like we're constantly doing it cognitively instead of just, you know, feeling, or like I don't know.
right.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
So
because like then I guess the FEs have the advantage because they can actually see the other person and how they're reacting to them in the moment. And they
yeah,
don't have to
yeah.
systematize, oh, that is too much, so I won't do that one again. Yeah.
Yeah, like they don't
Yeah.
have to keep like a record of like, oh, what's what's like not appropriate or whatever.
Right.
But I think you just learn as you mature and you get older and stuff, which is good. I guess there's like less of that over time.
Yeah, but to me, it still feels like you're compensating because like the real time thing will never be beat, I guess. Like if you can
Yeah,
actually respond to people in the moment on how they're reacting to you, that's kind of cool.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I like, I'd like to think that we're not that bad though at it either. You know, because
Right.
like at the end of the day we still have FE. You know, it's not, because I feel like maybe sometimes FI might not be great with that either. You know, because like we can still, like I know it's our last
Yeah.
function, but we can still kind of recognize, I don't know, like others' emotions, and not that FI can't, but
Yeah, I think FI is more like, yeah, if I'm happy, you're happy. Because
yeah,
yeah, and FE is more like if you're happy, I'm happy.
yeah, definitely, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um what about your SI? Do you see yourself stacking that? Is personal experience important to you? Is it something that like would
Yeah.
you say your whole like your experience is like your most treasured thing or what?
E- yeah, I'm definitely sentimental about my past, and I do tend to remember things and timelines as well. Like I like to kind of keep record of, you know, yeah, who I am, what I've been through, obviously being lead DI as well. But yeah, and I like looking back and seeing how my identity has changed in that timeline. Um, and my dad is definitely lead SI, so I can see him doing it to a ridiculous degree. Like he'll just
Right.
remember, he'll remember timelines so well, and you know exactly where he was in 1976 and what music he was listening to, and yeah, very sentimental. So I can see that in myself a bit as well. But yeah, and I can get pretty, I don't know if this is an SI thing. I've kind of been thinking about it. Like the attachment to objects as well. I think it is. I think Dave and Sean have said that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I can
because
definitely
they're
get like,
personal. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, everything in the sensory can be personal to you or whatever. So yeah, I can get attached to things as well. And I think it makes SIs, like people on the SINE axis, kind of like hoarders sometimes, because we're just like collecting
that's
all these
interesting.
sensory things.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it's like we've a hard time letting go
it's
of
more that
them.
you can't get rid of them, right? Because they're
Yeah, because
personal,
they have meaning.
right?
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, I collect things and I don't get rid of them because they might be useful one day, not because I care about them.
really,
So I'm
yeah.
also, yeah, SE can be a hoarder for a different reason. Yeah,
Yeah, because it's also the gathering of
we're just gathering, we're just
sensory.
shit gathering. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then when it comes to maybe letting go of them, it might be a bit easier for you.
right. Yeah,
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 because
like
I could.
if
They're
you have
just
to.
things. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. But to me, it's like, no, like my dad as well is the same. Like I think most of my family are on the SINE axis, but we'll all just like hoard a lot. And then it doesn't make the interior design of your living space look great because it's just all this random shit that just like doesn't really go
yeah,
together. But it's like we have a sentimental attachment to it, so we're not gonna let go of it. Because like, you know, SE is known for kind of being good with design and stuff sometimes. So maybe that's kind of why as well. Like
yeah.
there's a detachment from the sensory so that they're able to just put together things that look nice as opposed to some stuff
Hmm.
that have meaning to them.
Do you see that you're also paying attention a lot to the chain of events and how like the events could be chained differently?
In what ways? Like what kind of chains of events? Like just anything
Any
in my
chain of,
life?
yeah, it's where it's like, oh, that happened because of that, like that kind of thing, or
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did this
yeah.
before this, but maybe this time I'll try to switch them to see if it's better. I don't know, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, because I am tracking the sensory, I guess, in a way. So if something didn't work in the past, maybe I will try to switch things up a bit, I guess, yeah. But I'm
So like
not like
changing the
it's
order? No,
like, I mean, it's
nothing like
at the
that.
end of the day, it's still a demon for me. So it's not like I'm paying a huge amount of attention to it. I think like it's kind of an immature SI where I kind of just like to keep track of um timelines and what's happened in my life, what's led me up until now. I don't really use it that much to kind of predict the future, or like not predict the future, but like to I don't know.
Systematize the past, even.
Yeah, yeah, not really, not to a huge degree.
Huh.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, trying to wrap your head around everything.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like the sequence of events, does that matter to you?
No, no, I don't think it's really where my brain goes that much.
Right.
No, like how things occurred. Like I'll remember them, and I like to remember how things happened. But I don't know if it matters that much that I'll utilize it, you know, in a lot really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about organizing your physical space? Do you feel like there's a perfect way to make things organized? Like a painting has to be exactly 3 centimeters this way, or
um, not really. No, no.
yeah.
No, I like to keep a clean space. Definitely, I
Okay.
like things to be tidy, and I kind of have that SI cleany thing. Like I'll do a big clear out of my room sometimes, just like a deep clean. I do like cleaning. But yeah, no, I'm not really like fussy about where things should be. I guess I'm fussy when people take my stuff, like my family. 'Cause yeah, I like have an attachment to things. So like if my sisters take my clothes without asking me, like that's triggering. Um,
Right.
yeah, but that's it really. Yeah.
Or like, is it important for you to have like a safe physical space? Um,
Yeah, I wonder is would you think that's an SI kind of thing? Um,
I'm trying to process it. Yeah, because like obviously I like a safe physical space too, but I don't think it
yeah.
really even matters where it is to me or
Yeah.
um,
Well, I guess I have an attachment kind of to my bedroom. I look like it's my safe space. Yeah, it's like my kind of sanctuary. And you know, if I'm anywhere abroad, that you know, this I know that the safest place I'll feel is at home in Ireland. You know, in my
right.
room or with my family or whatever. So yeah, I guess in that way.
Does it feel like everything in the world has its place? Everything has to be in a. I don't even know.
No,
No.
not for me. No.
Okay. Help me out here.
Yes. Yeah, just like one word answers.
Right.
That was the whole interview. Just like, yeah, no, yeah.
So what do you think SI is then?
See, I don't think I've spent enough time processing SI. I guess I always look to my dad to kind of see what he's doing since he's lead SI, like masculine lead SI. So I think the main thing he's doing is just, yeah, he's systematizing things so that he can, to prevent chaos or whatever, which I'm not doing because it's third for me. But yeah, it's kind of more just like being sentimental about your past, remembering things in timelines, kind of stuff like that. He
Hmm.
always took videos when we were kids as well, which is, I feel like it's a very kind of ISTJ thing. Like, he like recorded our whole childhood, which is just so nice to look back on, and we all love
Right.
looking back on it. It's like a record of the past. Um,
Do you feel
so
like you can extract a lot of meaning from a single sensory moment or single memory? Maybe that's why you want to go over it over again and again, because you can keep extracting meanings out of it.
I don't know if it's to extract meaning out of it. It could be. Like, I mean, I think, yeah, certain moments in your life kind of can make you who you are, or they can be defining moments. But yeah, I guess I'm not sure. I'll have to think about that one actually. Yeah, could be.
Or is like the more you remember something, the more you've solidified it, or you've ironed it out, it's falls into some kind of I don't know.
Um, Not really. No, like I'll think over things. Just because maybe they do bring me joy, like really happy moments of my life.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so kind of stuff like that. Yeah, like reminiscing on the past. I would do some of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if that's exclusively SI either. I'm sure everyone kind of does that, but I'm not sure how I'm doing it differently to SE or.
I mean, what about comparing sensory things? Like if you see something smaller than something else, like that's the kind of comparison you'll do, or is it harder for you to do those comparisons between
I just,
sensory?
yeah, so that's kind of more extroverted sensing, isn't it? Like when
Yeah.
you're comparing things in
Right.
the physical. Yeah, I don't really like, to me, kind of comparing things like what's best in the sensory world, like that just doesn't appeal to me at all, really. Like I'll like, certain clothes because whatever, but I'm not really comparing what's best or,
Or
you
like
know,
one outfit to a different outfit. Do you do that comparison?
one outfit to a different outfit. Yeah, yeah, but I think I'll like both of them for their own, like they'll have their own character to them maybe. But I'm not really, yeah, I'll just kind of wear whatever I feel like
Uh-huh.
suits me or whatever that day or the event.
Trying to think how else we compare sensory. Like, if do you have a good sense of okay, like let's say pick five people from your friends and family. Do you have a good sense of who's the tallest and then who's the shortest? Like,
It wouldn't come to me quickly, but I would, like, I'd be able to think about it. But it's not something I'm paying attention to really. I feel like with
no,
NE, a lot of the time I'm living my life conceptually. Like it's like there's a veil of thoughts and concepts kind of on top of my whole physical reality, to an annoying degree sometimes where I can't just be in the physical world and be present with things.
yeah.
So yeah, I have a lot of that. Because I'm living in such a kind of conceptual world, sometimes it's like I'm just not paying attention to comparing sensory at all.
How tall do you feel?
How tall do I feel?
Yeah.
um, I'm 5'8.5", so I feel kind of like taller than a girl. I think I noticed that more in America actually as well. There's a lot of like, I think like Irish people are a bit taller. Um, but it's just not something I'm really tracking. No, I feel kind of, yeah.
Do you feel that you are at height or you're not even? Yeah.
What, like I'm a floating brain or something?
I don't know. I'm just wondering how the feeling works. Yeah. I realize how
Um,
dumb it sounds. Don't worry. I'm just trying to get it this deeper.
that's so funny. Um, um, what do I feel like? I don't know. I'm just, sometimes I am so in my head that I'll walk into something. So maybe that's that's a good way of explaining it. Like, yeah, yeah, I'm just not paying attention really like that's why I thought I was deep in SI as well, like or as
Yeah.
in fourth function, just because like I'm very much in my head all the time, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But in regards to
Paperwork.
oh no.
Yeah, nobody likes paperwork.
No, I don't
I
think
wouldn't.
anyone does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, some people weirdly do, but no, definitely not. Yeah, it's hard to keep on top of all of that kind of stuff. But I think it's just like a muscle you have to work. Like you just have to force yourself to do these things just so you get better at them over
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Does disorganized sensory annoy you? Like papers littered around, clutter, stuff like that?
It depends. Like because it's third, like
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
it
also
depends.
really weird. Dave says this too. It's like every ENFP or ENTP will just get pissed off at one sensory that
That's what I was just
randomly.
about to say. Like just like you just actually took the words out of my mouth. Like it could just be one thing that I'm weird about, and like I'll want the papers to be organized for that, but then for something else I don't care. Like just because I've decided that it matters for this thing, so I'll have this kind of aspect of my life organized or these papers organized, but then
It
for
makes a
other
lot of sense. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's because like I just don't have the capacity to like organize everything because there's too much else to focus on being TINE, you know?
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
all of the extroverted functions are trying to put energy into the spectrum as a whole as well, not just one specific weird ass thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so TI is going to, stack up one specific thing or yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I'm going to organize one specific weird ass sensory thing, over
Yeah.
organize this just
Yeah.
because.
And then the rest of my life is like a shit show, but then like 3 parts of my life is organized. So
Right.
yeah, that's kind of the way it is, I guess, for SI. Like
Yeah.
even throughout college, I was really weirdly organized with going to the gym and like writing down exactly all the exercises I had to do and the weights I was lifting and doing that like 4 to 5 times a week. But then when it came to like doing assignments, sometimes like I was like a bit all over the place, or so it's like this weird kind of thing. Yeah.
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 And I don't know, we didn't really talk. We touched on the blast, but we didn't really blast on the blast. Like,
No.
do you see blast as not being hard to get started? Is that something that?
Yeah, because I'm double masculine consume, so
Yeah.
double activated, and it's just like I always have that feeling that I don't know enough to get started. So that's definitely a bit debilitating, but I
So
think
what about New York? Like you're gonna get started on that in some way. So how did you know enough?
well, I've been there for a few summers, so I kind of just go over. But this year I'll have a degree, so I kind of do want to try to get a big boy job. So I'm just gonna see what happens. But see, it's the problem I have. Like, it's getting started on things that I care about or that matter to me. I don't really care about getting started on things that aren't related to like my identity and stuff like that, or if that makes sense.
So like where you live, it doesn't matter.
No, like I don't care about any of that kind of stuff. It's like if I have to get started on something where my identity's on the line or where the tribe can judge me, that's kind of tricky
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
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 So it's like that's when the tribe can judge me, that's when I need to have all the consume done, and I need to know what I'm talking about.
Because you can't look like a fool. You can't look.
Exactly,
You can't
because
just
that's
ask silly questions on an interview.
yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. But yeah, it's more so to do with getting on started on things I care about, definitely. Related to identity and all of that.
Yeah. There's a bunch of stuff going on in the chat here. So let's see. Have you both found that Effie is much easier in the face-to-face real world compared to online conversations? Go for it.
Here I go with NE. Oh, it could be this or that. They could mean this or that. But are you talking about like text conversations or like just a video chat? Because video chat I feel like is perfect.
I've seen this happen with NE before, where it's like, okay, I'm going to give you a sensory. I can interpret it like this, or like this, or like this. Maybe I'll interpret it like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick the most likely interpretation.
I'll interpret it like texting. So
okay.
For me, that's actually an issue being blast as well. Like I'm really bad at replying to people on time and stuff. Just because I'm preserving energy by not replying to them soon enough. So I find video chats to be just like in the real world. Like I feel like, yeah. But then online conversations like texting, sometimes it can be awkward because it's like you don't know how you're coming across through text or, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would you
But I
say?
feel like video conversations are maybe even easier because I can look at the person. They don't know where my eyes are looking. Whereas like when you're in when you're in person, you're just like, oh God, where do I look? Their feet,
We're
their
like such,
nose.
yeah, we're
Am
like
I
such
looking at their
awkward
lips too long?
HPNFs.
Yeah.
Sometimes I actually do that because, like, I heard if you look here at a person, it still looks like you're looking them in the eyes, but you're not. But that's only for people who I feel awkward around.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, this is, yeah, our sad little lives as Team and Effie. No, I'm joking. Yeah, so that answers the question, hopefully.
I know the FE DOMs feel a lot more comfortable when they can see the reactions of the people because they're actually tracking the emotion
Yeah.
spectrum, the emotion realm. Yeah.
Yeah, that would make sense for them. But
And I think it's a good question because for us, like the way we were discussing earlier, oh, we're systematizing how you interact with people. So we don't even need to see how you're reacting to me. I've already known that I'm within the limits. And if you
yeah,
complain about that, you're the one who's to blame.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's very true.
Cool. What else do we have here? I mean, that's kind of it. Do you have anything that you wanted to promote? Or any message maybe you want to give for people of your same type?
A message for people of my same type. Here's my NE thinking of all the ways I could interpret that as well.
Right.
Not really. I guess just what's been really helpful for me is kind of, I think, getting into OPS and finally being able to see yourself objectively and like kind of where your weaknesses lie from the math. That's been good for me. So yeah, just like knowing I need to work on FE. And it's been really helpful knowing that the people problems and all the people processing and stuff has probably been blown out of proportion in my mind. You know, like I think
Yeah.
with being a decider, it's kind of like being a single observer in a way where, you know, they fear like pathways shutting down on them and stuff like that. And it's like if you make one wrong move or something, like certain pathways will close down. I feel like it's the same with, you know, being an IP sometimes. Like if you present yourself in like wrong or like in not a great way just once, that like the whole tribe will turn against you. You kind of have
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
feeling sometimes that like you just can't even make a wrong step. So for me, yeah, just like kind of learning that that's not the case and that we are allowed to be kind of messy humans in front of people. That's been really helpful. So yeah, I don't know if you
That's really good.
yeah.
No, it's very linked with the introverted functions too, because like the control, like if they cause any little bit of chaos, they freak out. Like everything has to be perfect, and so we're responsible for ourselves and how we behave. And if we make any little mistake there, then we'll beat
Ousted.
ourselves up for that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and yeah, we won't be kind of, we won't belong in the tribe anymore or stuff like that. So
right.
um
Yeah, we have to be
yeah,
perfect, quote unquote. Otherwise,
yeah,
yeah, we don't
especially
deserve to be here.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Especially with
Yeah,
like a masculine DI at the top. Or just yeah, DI in general, you can feel like that, I think. So it's nice knowing that, like, even before this interview today, I was thinking like, oh God, you know, my energy levels are low, and you know, but that's okay. You know, you don't have to be your best self, you know, in front of the tribe all the time. Like, we're human, you know.
right.
Yeah, we're allowed to show like different parts of ourselves and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
and
So
again, allowed to ask stupid questions. It's fine.
a lighthouse, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, to get, and like that gets to the bottom of things when we do. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so don't, we won't stay up at night tonight thinking about all
Right.
that. Yeah.
It's good to know. Now that you've given me that message, I know I won't get kicked out of the tribe for that. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Oh,
No, I'm joking.
yeah.
Yeah. No,
Well,
it's just, it's nice. It's been really healing for me to know that you know, I'm allowed to make mistakes and I'm allowed to just like be whatever. And yeah, it doesn't mean automatic rejection.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything you want to, any closing messages to the tribe as another IP?
I'm trying to see how like our FE would be different because mine is double activated and yours is single
Oh
activated,
yeah, yeah.
right?
I guess you just have more of an awareness of the tribe, and because I know Dave and Shan talk about that. Like I'm like all in on my saviors. Like I'm double activated on my saviors, so it's like I won't even see the void, but it's like maybe you can perceive the void better than I can. So it's like this constant nagging. That's what I've kind of heard. It's this like
Yeah.
nagging of like this the FE, like come on, you need to do more. So you feel a bit conflicted.
I definitely feel like everything I can see is because I couldn't see it at one point and I got destroyed over it and had
Yeah,
to compensate. Yeah.
that's
Like
kind of the
I
same. Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, I think it
it's like
would be
you
the
have to
same
learn the hard
between
way.
us because you
Yeah.
have to learn the hard way. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my god, yeah. Like I've had to learn the hard way so much, and but you can't be tough on yourself and beat yourself up about it. Like we all have to grow in some way. So it's just good to know now, um, what how you could be doing more for the tribe, I guess.
Yeah. Have you ever actually gotten kicked out of a tribe? Like, did that ever
Yeah,
happen?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Once
It happened.
or more than once?
Um, okay. Well, one. I'm trying to think. Ugh, this is feminine demon sensory here.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Once that I can like really remember. Um, yeah, I was like in my teens and I was just completely focused on myself, wanting to just do what I wanted to do and still be in the friend group with minimal effort kind of thing. So I did get kicked out of that. It was like two other girls. So they ended up like replacing me with another girl, which was like decider hell. And we were in the same class and I just yeah, it was like horrible. And I was left thinking, oh, what did I do wrong and what could I have done better? And just
Right.
so much processing came from that. And um
Like a real
so
Mean Girls kind of episode.
yeah, kind of yeah.
Yeah.
Like yeah, and but it was a great learning experience, I guess, because I definitely was more careful in my friendships after that. Um then at other times of my life, I have, I guess, maybe drifted from people one on one as well. I've not kicked out of a group, but just drifted from people, maybe from a lack of FE as well. Um, yeah,
Yeah, I get
especially
that.
if they're high, if they're like high FE, like an ESFJ or something. And like, there's one friend I kind of drifted from, and I think she's an ESFJ jumper, but she just always do so much FE for me, and like I wasn't really like I didn't ask for it, but she was kind of doing it and kind of expecting it in return. Sorry, someone's gonna exit this.
That's you. Okay.
Sorry.
It's all good.
Sorry. Yeah, so so it's kind of like when it's like a savior FE and you're still not really aware of the FE and maybe you're not reciprocating that FE to them, that can like cause a drift as well. I don't know if you've had
Yeah.
that in your life. Yeah.
Well, also like you don't know how much energy to invest in a person, how much is too much. Like, why am I not getting it back? Okay, I'm gonna pull away.
Mm,
Like that kind of thing. Like, how much do I pull away? How much do I put forward?
yeah. Yeah.
And sometimes you just even forget that the person exists because you're so self-absorbed that they're just like, oh, why are we not friends anymore? Oh, I probably forgot that you
Yeah.
existed. Like,
Oh, oops. Yeah, it's kind of like yeah, or it's just that they feel like, oh well, I'm doing all of this FE for my friend. I like maybe kind of resentment builds because they're not getting that in return. Whereas IPs, like we have a very independent streak where we rely on ourselves, so we don't expect, like she would do things for me that I wouldn't expect her to do, but she would expect it in return kind of thing, and then maybe get resentful at me for it kind of thing. So
yeah, that sounds like a
um
DE thing. Yep.
yeah, so but then I would think to myself, oh well, I wouldn't expect, I don't know, like I wouldn't expect that of her. So why is she getting mad? I don't know. Yeah,
Right.
I would just get a bit messy like that.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
painful
We never
because
asked you for
we
that. And
yeah, and now it's like you're getting resentful at me because you did this for me, but I wouldn't, like you
yeah.
could have not done it for me, but I still would have wanted to be your friend, or but that's just the way DE works as well. So it's kind of tough, but that's why it's so important to learn this kind of stuff objectively, how people's minds work.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's painful because obviously, that
It's a
hits
bit
us in our
manipulative too, I think, because it's like they are you are doing something for somebody else, but you're not doing it for because you want to. You're doing it because you expect something in return.
Yeah, well, I think they do genuinely care, but that's the like it kind of that's the problem in a way, because maybe yeah they care about your emotions too much, because that's where they get their sense of self, maybe from helping others
Right.
emotionally. Um, it's not always that they're looking for something in return, but maybe there is that kind of unconscious expectation, and then if they're not getting that, it can be, yeah, I don't know, and then they can perceive you as like selfish because they just don't get why you're not doing the same.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the story of humans. Why isn't everybody as cool as me and doing things the same as me? Yeah.
yeah,
And why
exactly.
also aren't they taking care of my voids for me? And yeah.
Mm, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, and it's tough because then obviously what we want more than anything is to belong, and
Right.
as Demon FE. So, but yeah, you learn. Do you
Yeah.
have a hard time with authority figures? Yes. I think that's kind of like a TI thing as well. Maybe like we just like if
Yeah.
especially in school, I would just like do
Consume
what I
too, I think.
consume. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like I just thought the schooling system was like really stupid, and I just didn't like the way it was organized. And yeah, everyone raise your hand if you agree.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought the whole thing was stupid, and it just wasn't conducive to, um, becoming your best self, or whatever. Like especially my school was very academically focused.
Right.
Yeah, I felt like there's just a lot of TE stupid rules there. Like you have to walk a certain way, and you have to wear your clothes a certain way, and so I had a problem with authority figures in school. Not that I would like be rowdy in class because of it, but I just kind of did my own thing a lot of the time, and I thought like I think teachers kind of picked up on that kind of nonchalant attitude, and they thought it was kind of disrespectful that I just didn't care about
Yeah.
the class or whatever, just because I thought it was stupid, the whole setup. Yeah.
So I think for me as well is like TI is it feels like whoever is more intelligent should be the leader or should be in charge or make the
Mm,
decisions. And if this person is kind of dumb and they're an authority figure, I have no respect for them.
yeah, yeah, same. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, you're in this position, but like, and what about it? Like that, like you went to college, and like it. Look, I think being a teacher is a great thing, and it's a noble thing or whatever. But it's just like if they're just kind of spouting stuff, and I don't know, yeah, like they're not the most intelligent or whatever. Yeah, I lose
Yeah.
respect as well.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking also like in like a boss situation, we are at work, and I don't know, you've got a boss that just doesn't know anything and he's telling you to do things that are just obviously dumb and wrong. And
yeah,
then
or else they're just like they just don't matter. Like
yeah,
if you don't do something in a perfect specific way, like the world isn't going to blow up, but sometimes
right.
yeah, you feel like that's the way they're acting in a work situation, like all these little rules that yeah don't really matter.
Yeah, and I think also it's just because someone is in a position of authority and they say something, it doesn't make them more right. Like truth
Yeah.
is truth.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. And
Author-
I also sorry.
yeah. No, yeah, just authority doesn't equal truth. Yeah.
No, exactly. Yeah, and that's obviously paramount importance to us.
Right.
Truth. And when you look back into history and all of the authority figures that just caused absolute destruction and mayhem on the planet, it's like okay, well, just because yeah you're in a position of authority doesn't give you any right to kind of like tell me what to do. I guess if it's not true, or
Right.
if it's like hurting people, stuff like that.
Yeah. Have you had issues with that in the past? With that not doing what you're told?
Well, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Like with my parents, with school, just kind of just wanting to do what I want to do. Like I was
You know
independent to a
better?
fault. Yeah, or else like yeah, I could just kind of that feeling that I know better. Um, even maybe with drinking, like just a random example, like drinking alcohol at a young age, like well, not really young, but like let's say 16. And if my parents were against that, I would say to myself, oh well, all teenagers do this, and I have to experiment. That's gonna help me
Right, you'll
develop as a
justify it to
person.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll just justify everything to myself, and if it makes sense to me, because at the end of the day, I'm lead DI. I
Mhm.
decide. So, um, So
DI, I
yeah, it
decide.
made sense to me to experiment when I was young and do what I want. And if they have a problem with that, well, they should be more open-minded. Uh,
Yep.
and I recognize that it's very stubborn. Like I do recognize that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. What about you? Have you ever any experiences like that, or?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember when one time my dad tried to spank me over something, and then I was just like, didn't hurt.
Oh.
And so yeah, he had to hit me harder. And then I
Yeah.
said, didn't
Yeah.
hurt. Yeah. That
Yeah.
went on
That
for a
was
while
hard.
until I was crying and still saying didn't hurt. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Just because you had to,
The
like,
level of
yeah.
defiance. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Level of defiance. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's an interesting life being IP in IP.
Well, cool. Awesome. Thank you for being open and sharing, and yeah, great discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. I had fun.
Okay. Have a good one, everyone.